नमस्ते प्रणाम गीता ध्यान। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa-charācharam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagad. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, the extreme delight of Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Our reading of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 9th Adhyaya, Rajavidya, Rajaguhya Yoga. And today we will be reading the 10th Shloka. And from 7th Shloka onwards, Sri Krishna is sharing with us that great secret, that how the Lord makes this creation come into effect. But the Lord is unattached. Lord is not doing anything. He says, I am not involved. It is the Prakriti which does, and He has given the power of attorney. He has given this entire charge. He has delegated that task to Madam Prakriti. That's it. That is what the Lord's role is. And Lord says, I am not at all involved. I am not at all involved in anything. Sorry. Come start of the day, the creation starts. The bringing forth of this creation, of this multitude of beings, the Bhutagramam, it starts. The Prakriti sustains them, preserves them, feeds them, nourishes them. All this creation. And it is maintained in a good condition. Okay, there are some ups and downs during this sustenance process. But that is part of, again, the play. And then, as the night progresses, the Brahma's night, at the end of that 4.32 billion years, again, the Prakriti draws back all that she has brought forth. That is, brought back in the ultimate Lord. And that is the end of one kalpa. So Sri Krishna says, in all these activities that are happening, I am not at all involved. And in fact, in the 9th Shloka that we read last, Sri Krishna has categorically told that Nachamam tani karmani nibagnanti. O Dhananjaya, I am no way involved, I am no way attached, I am no way concerned with all this karma that is happening. Udasina vat asinam. I'm sitting absolutely indifferent. Udasinavat asinam asaktam teshu karmasu. Even in those acts, I am sitting indifferently, aloof. I am asakta. Asaktam is I am unattached. And I am udasinam. I am unattached. I am indifferent. I have got nothing to do with what she is doing. I just willed for the Prakriti to make it happen. And now in the 10th Shloka, Sri Krishna is again explaining. Now one by one he is taking us, he is bringing us right in front of that reality. First he told us, he gave a vague idea. He gave a gross concept. He gave us a gross concept of the creation being brought forth by the Prakriti at the start of the day, and then towards the end, the creation is again drawn back. That he has told us. Then he has, from that grosser thought, that grosser teaching of Sarva Bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpado visrujamyam. At kalpakshaya, at the end of the kalpa, it is drawn back, this entire Sarva Bhutani, this entire creation, all the beings, all the multitude of beings, they are drawn back in the body of the Supreme. And Kalpado Visrujamyaham, and at the start of the Kalpa, next Kalpa, again like that grandmother's pouch which has so many things inside hidden, that pouch is opened. Dadima ki potli, what they used to call it. As that pouch is opened, again the creation is brought forth. Now then after telling us this gross reality, then he took us to a rather finer version when Sri Krishna in the 8th shloka told us, Prakritim swamavashtabhya visrujami punha punha. I am creating it again and again. Bhutak gramam imam kritsnam avasham prakrite vashat. Now all this multitude of beings, they are helpless. Whether they like it or not, they have to get into this play. That was a subtler aspect of this creation coming forth and drawn back that Sri Krishna explained. Then in the 9th shloka, Sri Krishna again explained us even the subtler part from that. That Sri Krishna says all these things are happening, but I am no way involved. Nachabham tani karmani nipagnanti. I am not at all involved in any of these things. Udasinavat asinam asaktam teshu karmasu. I am sitting absolutely aloof. I'm not even looking at it, what is happening. I am just sitting aloof, unattached, and not involved. Let Prakriti do her work. Now then, this is what Sri Krishna has told. And now Sri Krishna tells actually who is doing this entire, karma. That Sri Krishna says in the 10th shloka that now he is going to change. Now he is taking us further to the subtlest part of this game of creation, preservation, destruction. So Sri Krishna says, mayādhyakṣheṇa prakṛitiḥ sūyate sa-charācharam hetunānena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. Now Sri Krishna tells that mayādhyakṣheṇa, under my supervision, under my presidentship, Maya is mine. Adhyakṣheṇa, Adhyakṣheṇa is like Adhyaksha, the president. Under my presidential position, under my supervision, under my proximity, under my command. Prakriti sūyate sa-charācharam. Sūyate is brings forth, gives birth. Prakriti gives birth to what? Sa-charācharam. Sa-charācharam. The moving and the non-moving. This entire creation. All the multitudes of beings. Whatever is moving, whatever is non-moving. From our perspective, only the animal kingdom moves, isn't it? But from the universal perspective, well, even our earth is moving. Our earth is moving. Our solar system is moving. These galaxies are moving. And in that moving, there is also achara. This table is not moving. This chair is not moving. This laptop is not moving till I make it move. They don't move on their own. But although even we don't move on our own, but still there are some which are moving, sa-charācharam, and some which are achara, stones, plants. Plants, I mean the bodies as such, the leaves and all, they move, they shake. But this entire universe is composed of sa-charācharam and achara. So Sri Krishna says, under my proximity, mayādhyakṣheṇa, with me presiding over all these operations, prakriti sūyate sa-charācharam. Prakriti brings forth, Prakriti gives birth to these moving and non-moving creatures, beings, things. Hetunānena kaunteya, jagad viparivartate. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, hetunānena. Anena is by this cause. Hetuna is cause. Anena is by this. By this cause, jagad viparivartate. Jagat viparivartate. Jagad revolves. Viparivartate is revolving, moving, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. This entire jagat, this entire creation is coming and going. It is because of Prakriti. It is because of this cause that Prakriti is bringing forth the sa-charācharam and achara. This entire jagat, it is viparivartate. It is revolving around, coming and going, creating and sustaining and dissolving. It is this entire magic of coming and going, revolving, constantly in the gear of motion, constantly in the act of motion, from here to there, there to there, again going back, again coming forth. This is all because of this Prakriti's creation of sūyate sa-charācharam. Now, because of my proximity, Prakriti produces all this, the moving and the unmoving. The world therefore revolves, O son of Kunti. Now, whenever there is a mention of the coming and going, the birth and death, creation and destruction, Sri Krishna addresses Arjuna as the one who has taken birth. And Arjuna has taken birth from Kunti. So, Sri Krishna addresses Arjuna in this shloka as kaunteya, the one who is born of Kunti, kaunteya. And like Arjuna, you are born of Kunti. This entire world, prakṛitiḥ sūyate. The Prakriti brings forth, Prakriti gives birth to all this moving and non-moving. Now this relation, now you see how so beautifully how Sri Krishna has made this transition of explanation of this creation of all the beings at start of the day, at the start of Kalpa, and as the Kalpa ends, the creation is drawn back. Now who is doing it? Prakriti is doing. Now this is just telling about creation getting born at the day, at the Kalpa, start of the Kalpa, and the creation being dissolved, brought back in the body of the Lord at the end of the Kalpa. This is a gross reality that Sri Krishna has told. Then he has taken us to the subtler aspect that Prakriti is doing, whether these being fellows they like it or not. They are helpless. They are trapped. They have to come and go. And then Sri Krishna has again explained to us even the finer point, even the subtler reality that I am not involved in any of this. All these things, they keep on happening. But I am not involved. I am unattached. I am sitting absolutely unattached. And these things are happening of her accord. And then in this 10th shlok that we read, the Sri Krishna has brought forward the subtlest point that I preside over the things that are happening. Mayādhyakṣheṇa. Under my proximity, under my supervision, these things are happening. That prakṛitiḥ sūyate sa-charācharam. That Prakriti is bringing forth, Prakriti is giving birth to this moving and unmoving creations of the world, of this universe, of this creation. And hetunānena kaunteya, O kaunteya, this is the cause of jagad viparivartate. This is the reason for this entire creation to come and go, to revolve around the Prakriti in the cycle of creation, preservation and destruction. That is the subtlest truth. Now, actually in the philosophical terminology, whenever such instances are given, first the grossest elements are explained, then subtler things, and then the subtlest things. So this particular methodology is called as Arundhati Nyaya. Now Arundhati Nyaya, there is a reason for this term. In the Hindu weddings, there is a certain ceremony where after the wedding, the husband shows the Arundhati star to the wife. Now this is typically, if you see any of the wedding photographs, there is typically one photograph you will see where that husband is pointing something towards a high up above in the sky and telling his wife, see there, see there. Now there is a reason for that. What the philosophers, they say, the commentators, what they say, that this is called as Arundhati Nyaya. Now the husband is supposed to show that nakshatra Arundhati, that constellation, that Arundhati, to the bride, to his wife. Now that constellation, that nakshatra is so tiny that simply seeing that one cannot see, pointing towards that one cannot see. Even the husband may not see for himself. So what happens? Towards the direction of that Arundhati, first of all, the husband will say, okay, there is that big tree is there. See in that direction. Fine. So wife sees towards the direction of that tree, that branch. Then husband says, can you see slightly beyond that tree, there is a huge cloud. Then the wife sees, okay, now the things from grosser are being drawn, the attention is drawn to the subtler. Then, okay, that, yes, then wife says, I can see that cloud. Then husband says, just besides, at this end of the cloud, at the extreme position right of the cloud, you will see one bright star there. Then wife says, yes, I can see that bright star. And then husband says, next to that bright star, there is that very tiny spot. That is Arundhati. And then the wife sees, oh yes. If right in the beginning the husband starts telling, hey, look at that very tiny star, wife will say, what is he showing me? I'm not able to understand anything. So the husband takes the attention of the wife from the grosser, nearer, things to the subtler thing, and then the subtlest thing. That is the Arundhati, and that is what the commentators mainly while explaining this shloka, they say that Sri Krishna is taking us to the path of Arundhati Nyaya. First he has shown us what is the grossest, that yes, the beings come and go, beings come at the start of Kalpa, beings dissolve, they go back at the end of Kalpa. Then from that gross reality, he took us towards the finer aspect, the subtler aspect, that it is a Prakriti doing, whether these fellows, they like it or not. And then he has taken us to further subtler aspect, that I am not at all involved in it. And now in this 10th shloka, he tells us finally that everything is happening under my presidency. mayādhyakṣheṇa prakṛitiḥ sūyate sa-charācharam. Under my precedence, under my proximity, Prakriti is bringing forth all these animate and inanimate, the moving and the non-moving entities in this creation. And the purpose of this, that is the purpose, O kaunteya, O son of Kunti, that this world, that this creation, that this universe is revolving round and round and round. The final, subtlest truth Sri Krishna has shared with us in this 10th shloka. The relationship between active Prakriti and Ishvara, the actionless stimulator thereof, is rather difficult to understand. Suddenly people may say, how come it is Prakriti? Where is Krishna's involvement in it? Where is the involvement of the Lord in Prakriti's creation? So Sri Krishna has made this point also very clear. He is the presiding authority. He is the Adhyaksha of all this function that is happening. He is the president. A subtle point is arrived by proceeding from the known to the lesser known. Now, this is what is happening. Here the Lord states that I generate them again at the beginning of the next kalpa. This is what he started off saying, telling us in the 7th shloka. Prakriti is here only an instrument in his hand, and now he is telling us Prakriti is just an instrument. Like Sri Ramakrishna told us in his example of the previous shloka that we read, that the moment an aspirant thinks that Lord is the doer, I am just an instrument. The aspirant, the devotee, the sadhaka can have liberation in this very birth. And Sri Krishna is telling here, Prakriti is just an instrument again. It is the Lord's will. Prakriti is here only instrument in his hand. Then Lord says that he animates his Prakriti to do that work. It is his glance. Under his glance, Prakriti knows that, okay, Lord wants me to do this, and she brings forth this bhutagramam. His Prakriti to do that work, thereby making her semi-responsible for her work. She is not fully responsible. She is doing everything, but under the instruction from the President. Thirdly, all the responsibility is placed on Prakriti. Now Lord says, although it is my will, Prakriti is free to do everything. She has to plan, she has to execute, she has to wind up the project, she has to give the final delivery, that's it. It is all her doing. I am not involved in. The moment a project is handed over to Prakriti, it is all her. Then the boss doesn't, interfere in her way of working. And the Lord is just a witness, unconcerned and unattached. And finally, Prakriti derives her power of action because of the proximity of Ishvara. Otherwise, how can Prakriti of her own start doing everything, since the Lord is behind this whole thing? She is the power, no doubt. She is the Shakti, but that Shakti without the backing of the Ishvara, without the backing of the ultimate Lord, even that Shakti cannot do anything. The Shakti has the Lord as the backing, as the backup. Because of the Lord, the Shakti has this power to create, preserve and destroy. It is like the creative forces of the sunbeams owing their potentiality to the sun himself. What can solar energy do otherwise if sun is not there? Sun is at the back of all these rays of the sun that are, coming forth to us, that are bringing such a huge amount of solar energy. If sun is not there, from where will that sun rays come? From where will that solar energy come? But sun by itself is not involved in anything. Likewise, the Lord himself, the Ishvara himself is not involved in anything. It is as at his will, Prakriti gets into act. And Prakriti gets into act again in unattached manner. Prakriti is not involved. Prakriti doesn't feel any kind of guilt, any kind of sadness in destroying her own creation. It is her duty. So what? Lord has given me this duty, I am performing it. So I create, I sustain, I destroy, I bring it back. I give birth, I take it back. So that is what Prakriti's work, the way of working is. Everything is willed by the Lord. And so we have to work in the same fashion that the Prakriti is working. Everything is as per the will of the Lord. We are mere instruments. And with that understanding, when we start doing the work, automatically we work in the selfless manner. And then we come to the real Karma Yoga with real dedication to the Lord. So that was the 10th shloka that Sri Krishna taught us. And in the next two shlokas, the two verses that we are going to read, that Sri Krishna is going to tell us, in spite of explaining everything, how the ignorance, how the mood, they fail to understand this reality. So that we will take up during our next reading. As of now, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.